Hey guys, it's Joe Zieja here. I'm a voice actor, I'm a gamer, a Twitch streamer, an author, and a parkour athlete. And here today, I'm gonna be combining all of those weird knowledge sets into recommending a way for us as gamers to keep our bodies healthy using a vibrating massager. Now, before you put your mind into the gutter, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this, the Hypervolt Plus, which is a percussion massager that you can use every day to keep your muscles feeling good, feeling healthy, feeling loose, and also if you want to use it before a gaming session to get yourself warmed up, you can do it as well. Now, if you saw my previous video on the Hyper Ice Mini Sphere, we were talking about myofascial release. As a refresher, fascia cover your muscles all over your body. It's like a sheath for your muscles, and sometimes the fascia can get bound to the muscle, which create knots, they create pain points, inflexibility, tension, and in general, it just doesn't feel good. So you can use myofascial release by rolling out with a foam roller or something like the Hyper Ice to loosen up that fascia, unbind it from the muscle, and you'll feel better, stay healthier, stay more flexible. This is a little bit different. This percussion massager is used for myofascial release, but also it does a couple of other things that are really neat. First, as you may know, anytime you're trying to warm up a muscle, the idea of warming up is just putting blood into it. Your body's gonna send blood to areas of your body that's working or that need it. You all, I'm sure, have seen Michael Phelps on the starting line and he's always slapping his back and stuff like that. I'm sure you've seen people, like getting warmed up, slapping their muscles and stuff like that. It looks silly, but that kind of percussive movement does get blood flow to that area, makes the muscle warm up, and makes you less prone to injury. So a device like this, and I'll just show you right now by turning it on, it uses percussion technology and vibrates at a speed of up to 3,200 RPMs, which sounds like a lot. And it actually kind of looks like a little bit of a torture device, and I'll be honest with you, it kind of is. It's got 3 settings, and you can use it anywhere you want on your body. Again, I don't recommend using it on bone. This is for soft tissue areas only. It is not to pound an idea into your head or anything like that. That's not gonna do it for you. But in order to demonstrate the Hypervolt Plus, we're gonna talk about 3 more areas that we abuse as gamers and how a device, a percussion massager like the Hypervolt Plus, can help us relieve that stress and keep us feeling good. All right, guys, look, I've seen you gaming, okay? All of you look like L from Death Note. Just squatting in a chair with your shoulders hunched up against your ears and your chest all the way, or your shoulders all the way forward and your feet up. It's a comfortable way to game, I get it, but it hurts. I do it all the time. And when I get up, I'm like, oh man, I should not have sat like that. So there are a couple of areas that are really important here. If you're looking at this diagram of somebody who's gaming like a weird person, I guess. The first thing you can take care of is your traps. The traps muscles, or trapezius muscles, are these up here. They're the ones running alongside, up from the top of your shoulder all the way to your neck. Those are the most common one we think of when we think of someone giving us a massage, just kind of going up behind us. It just feels great every time. What you can do with the Hyper Ice, you fire this sucker up, and you don't need somebody to come by, because most of us can reach behind our shoulders. If you can't, the great thing about this device is you can have somebody else do it for you. You can have somebody come up and abuse you with this thing for a few minutes, and it feels great. You take this, you start, and your voice sounds amazing while you're doing it, and you just kind of run it all along. You can use as much pressure or as little pressure as you want. The cool thing about this device is it comes not just with the ball attachment, but it comes with several other attachments for all different places all over your body, depending on how much pressure you want, how much surface area you want to distribute that pressure over, all that kind of stuff. The second area, and this is a huge one for me, in my right shoulder, I have what's called a slap tear. The labrum, which is the pocket in which the shoulder sits, I have a tear in my right shoulder that I've been managing for years now, probably from abuse. But the main reason that I have that tear, and many people have injuries in their shoulders, is because of the way they slouch, where they sit like this all the time. All these muscles in the back, by your scap, subscap, your trapezius, they're not doing any work. They get very atrophied and very lazy, and that does a couple of things. It puts undue attention, undue strain on your shoulder muscles to do that work for you, and other elements inside the shoulder muscle, like the labrum, that really aren't designed to do work. And eventually that tissue wears down. On the front side of your shoulder, you have your pec muscle. You have the pec major and the pec minor. The pec minor in particular, which lays underneath the pec major and connects, is more it's not like a connective tissue, but it seems to connect a little bit more towards the shoulder. In that socket right there, it becomes extremely, extremely tight. So what happens is you start like this and you end like this. You can't seem to pull your shoulders back because the muscles in the back are weak, and those are something that I could talk about in another video about how to strengthen those muscles. But the other thing that happens is this muscle, the pec minor, is extremely tight, so it's pulling everything forward as well, requiring more work from your subscaps, your traps, and all that stuff happening on your back. So this is my favorite part with the Hyper Ice, is I take the Hyper Ice, and again, this is gonna sound amazing while I'm trying to talk doing it. I just stick that right in there, at full volume. And I sound like I may be underwater, but man, you just work that in there for a few minutes. Doesn't take long. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. This isn't requiring a lot of pressure from my arm. It feels bad, but it also feels good. And then when you're done, you can feel it. Even just a few seconds later, the area now has blood flow going to it. It's looser, it just feels better. And if I rotate my shoulder back, it doesn't feel like there's as much tension in the pec minor. All right, the third thing that I think the Hypervolt Plus is great for, particularly for gamers and people like rock climbers, weightlifters, anybody who uses their hands all the time. Especially if you're locked in this position all the time, if you're in a super intense moment while you're gaming, all that starts to get really tight, starts to fatigue. You start to feel strain on these muscles up here. You can take this sucker, turn it on, again, whatever pressure you want, whatever setting you want, and you take it right up in here. All this right here, that's fantastic. That is an incredible feeling. That's a really hard muscle to massage, even with fingers. So getting in here with the Hypervolt, and again, actually, what I'll do right now, because this ball is probably a little bit too wide for an area like this, I'm gonna change the head.
A few inches later.
So now we've got a second head on here that might be better for going along things like your back, because you can put the spine right in between it, or the bones like the ulna and the radius are on the arm here. So you can take this two-pronged head, work it right in there. You can get on either side of the bone, right up around the wrist. That feels fantastic. And if that's too wide, on second thought, I probably wouldn't use this head here, but you just pop it right off, put it in your pocket, and take the single out, which is more like a bullet shape. And that will be great for this area. Yes. That's perfect. That's perfect. It feels great. And I can feel my fingers are jumping because when you touch those muscles, it pulls over there. But you can use it for your hand as well. That's a really tough place to get a massage for me. You need a lot of pressure, and this device delivers it without you having to use a lot of muscle of your other hand. That feels fantastic. And here's a bonus one for you guys. Just because it feels great, and I wanna say the word butt, you use this for your butt. All these tight muscles against your hip and against your pelvis, that stuff gets tight. The Hypervolt is fantastic, and it makes your butt wiggle at 3,200 RPMs. What could be bad about that? Now, if for some weird reason I've already convinced you that you must have one of these, I wanna let you know that Hyper Ice is offering a $50 off discount on the Hypervolt Plus. If you go to their website, which will be linked in the video description below, and type in Zieja HV in the promo code, you get $50 off one of these. Pretty cool. Check the video description below to see what the time bounds of that are, because I'm not sure when this video is gonna go up. So I know the deal won't be on forever, so check below and it'll let you know when it expires. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you learned something about your body. I hope you learned something about myofascial release and massage and how it can help you stay healthy, feeling good, and able to recuperate easier from long gaming sessions. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell button before you go, and I will see you next time. And it makes your butt wiggle at 3,200 RPMs.